Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, the regular season's come to a finale. It was a snowy Cincinnati adventure for you, but congratulations, 20-13 victory over the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yeah, good win. Crazy conditions. We knew when we saw the schedule, when the schedule came out, we knew going to Cincinnati in late November was going to be tough. Got to give our players a lot of credit. I told them early in the week that this was going to be a big challenge for our mentality. Had to have the right frame of mind and the right approach, and go out there and take care of it. I mean, the elements were going to be a little different than we're accustomed to, but I thought our guys handled it incredibly well. I knew that they had embraced it when we had probably a third of our players went out in pregame without a shirt on, and it was cold and windy, and again, they had the right mentality, right frame of mind. We were fortunate enough to get off to a good start before the weather got bad. And again, that's something we talked to our guys about, the importance of starting fast. The forecast said that the weather was supposed to get bad around halftime. And so anyway, we did what we needed to do to win the ball game. Proud of our players. Really proud of the guys this year. We were 3-3 one point, and things didn't look very good. And to go out there and win 5 of the last 6, really proud of the way that those guys hung in there and did it together. And thought it was a gret win. And excited about the bowl game and the next opportunity to go win another football game.
How cold was it for you guys out there, if you mind me digging a little bit?
Yeah, it was. First half was cold. The second half, I thought once it started to snow, it actually warmed up a little bit. Which again, I don't really understand the science of that, but it seems like once it started snowing, it seemed like the temperature was a little bit higher. And our players had a good time though. They really did. We had a number of players that had never played in the snow. Had a couple of guys that said they'd never really been in the snow before. So pretty cool for those guys to experience that environment. And again, I think a credit to our guys and their mentality to go out and to not let that bother them.
Right. We ran into Matty Lewis before the show, and he told us the last snow game for TCU was 2011 in Wyoming. So it's been a good bit for since last time you guys played in the snow.
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, and like I said, if you've never done it, it can be a little bit daunting, but I thought our guys handled it well.
Strong first half, defensive second half for you guys. So 20-13, you guys kind of held them to where you needed to.
Yeah. Once the conditions got bad, at that point it was kind of going to be a contest who could, take care of the football, run the ball the best, and run the clock out. And wasn't real pretty, but we found a way to grind it out. To me, probably the biggest plays of the game in some cases were the 3 punts by Ethan Craw. We downed him inside the 5-yard line on 3 different occasions, most importantly at the 3-yard line, the last punt of the game, and forced them to drive 97 yards with right about a minute to go. And thought our defense did a good job of handling that. I mean, it's something that we work on all the time and prepare for, and our players handle those situations well.
I'm glad you brought up Ethan. We were talking about him a little bit, but Savion had his 2, but Ethan had 4 punts inside the 20 overall, which is a great deal for you guys. And
yep, that was a big deal. Yeah, when you have weather conditions, the big thing you got to do is you got to play defense. You got to not turn the ball over, and you got to punt well. And I thought we did those things.
One of the noticeable things was Hoss Haney played 8 snaps for 48 yards. What was the thought there?
Yeah. So we had a little package for Hoss coming in where we had he and the Savion in the backfield. As the game progressed, Savion got a little bit beat up, and so Hoss kind of took over that role and took it over well. He came in, he ran the ball hard, he was physical, he finished runs. He looked like a guy that belonged out there, and so it was good to see him do that, and we expect great things for him in the future.
Right. Blake Knoll had his biggest game of the year, which is huge, in fact, when he did his big catch.
But yeah. Jack Besh sprained his knee, and so Blake had to step in and made 2 really nice catches, caught a long post route, converted a really important 3rd down for us, and did exactly what he's supposed to do. Blake is a guy that's been here for a long time. He's been through a lot, very experienced. He cares about this football team. He's made a ton of sacrifices for it. He's a great special teams player. So anytime that a player like that has an opportunity to step in and make plays that we need, it's always fun to see.
Any updates on Jack Besh?
Yeah, sprained knee. I don't think it's anything bad, though. We were a little bit worried it may be an ACL, and thankfully it's not. Had an MRI and came back and just a sprained knee. So be out for a couple of weeks. We're hoping that he gets back for a bowl game. We'll kind of see how it plays out.
Good to hear. The play ride home, how was that?
Fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was everybody's tired. It's the end of the season. At this point, week 14, you're just kind of trying to hang on in some ways, and everybody's working on sleep deprivation and all the stuff. But everybody was excited to get on the plane. Again, I think our guys did exactly what we asked them to do. You know, you go back and you look from the open date prior to Utah. You know, we were sitting there at 3-3. We were -10 in turnover ratio. You know, things didn't look very promising, and we challenged our guys and basically laid out a formula for us to win and a plan, and our players executed it, and we were able to win 5 of the next 6. And you know, over the next 6 games, we were +4 in the turnover margin, and made all the difference in the world.
That was outstanding. We're going to ask you about the season review in your mind. You kind of touched on it twice now, but yeah, coming from where you were and where you ended up, Coach, is a masterful job. So congrats on that.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really the players. I mean, because you know, in today's world, you know, guys grow up playing video games, and when it doesn't go their way, they get up and hit the reset button. And you don't really get to do that in a college football season. And you got to figure out how to grind through it and get the thing turned. And so, to their credit, you know, they hung in there. They believed in each other. You know, they love playing for each other. They're committed to TCU and to this program, and it showed. And so I was really proud of the way they handled everything and continued just to battle and get better. And you know, and by the end of the year, we were a pretty good football team. And there were some times there in the middle of the year we were not a good team, and it was good to see those guys fight through it and come out on a good end.
Yes, indeed. All right, we'll be right back, talk about a little Big 12 championships, the season overall for the Big 12, and then a little recruiting. And then we'll be right back on State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
What do you see when you look up at the clouds? At Richard's Rainwater, we see the greatest source of pure, delicious water looking right back down at us. We've invented a simple, powerful technology to collect and bottle rainwater. Our process begins with the rain. When clouds become saturated, droplets fall from the sky. Rainfall is a naturally cleansing event. During the first few minutes, the raindrops clean the atmosphere and wash away any dirt or debris from surface areas. At this cleanest point in the rain cycle, we collect the pure raindrops into large storage vessels. Then, we use a simple, yet effective combination of ozone and microfiltration to ensure our rainwater surpasses the highest drinking water standards. We pour the pure, refreshing rainwater into glass bottles and aluminum cans, packaging as infinitely renewable as the water itself. Richard's Rainwater is building a network of collection systems across the country to ensure our rainwater is local everywhere. The purest, best-tasting water comes from the sky. Richard's Rainwater, sip the sky.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs. Your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, Big 12 Championship is this Saturday, Arizona State versus Iowa State. Thoughts?
Yeah, you know, 2 teams I think are surprise teams. You know, that's kind of been the theme of the Big 12 this year. You know, the 2 teams that were picked to win the league were Utah kind of overwhelmingly and Oklahoma State. And I think between the 2 of them, they won 2 conference games. And 2 teams that were picked really toward the bottom was certainly Arizona State and Iowa State, and they did a good job hanging in there. Both teams got good quarterback play. Both teams did a tremendous job taking care of the football. Both teams are good running the ball. Both teams played good defense, and so that seems to be the winning formula for the Big 12 this year. And you got to give both those teams a lot of credit. You know, they figured out how to do it. You know, you go back and you look at our season. You know, things could have been a lot different. We had 2 games that really came down to a field goal. You know, a missed field goal, long field goal by us against Central Florida, and a made field goal in the Baylor game. And, you know, had those 2 plays gone differently, we'd be in the Big 12 Championship. And there's a lot of teams that are probably saying the same thing, you know, right now, that the league was so close. There were so many close ball games that really came down to one play. Right. You know, Baylor got beat on a Hail Mary by Colorado, you know. And so there's just all these games where you know, teams had opportunities to win, and it's hard to win in the Big 12. There's a lot of parity, and you've got to play for 60 minutes, and that's what we talk to our players all the time about.
Will you be going to the game?
No, not going to the game. No, okay. We'll be trying to rest up and get ready for to open recruiting up again, and also bowl practices.
Fair. One of your contemporaries, Joey McGuire at Texas Tech, speaking of parity, went on online and said some things were really interesting. I wanted to ask you about him. He's basically talked about the parity in the Big 12 and basically all these teams switching conferences, the new conference, and they have successes. There's the SMUs, the Texases, the Oregons. In fact, Arizona State's one of them too. So what are your thoughts on that parity?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it is. There is a lot of parity in college football, and I think it's the result of the transfer portal and NIL and all the things. And what used to happen is you would have kind of cycles that would take place where if you had a senior-laden team, you would lose those players, and you'd have to play young guys. Well, in today's college football world, you lose a bunch of seniors, you go out and replace them with seniors. And so it's the teams that maybe dropped off in the past don't really drop off. There's not that big of a difference between the teams in the league. That leads to a lot of parity. The one thing that we have to get fixed in the Big 12 is we play 9 conference games. And that hurts our league. That is a very, very, very bad thing for our league when it comes to getting teams in the college football playoff. Just the best example is several weeks ago, BYU and Colorado lost. And that week, teams in the SEC were playing Wofford, we're playing North Carolina A&T, and different places, teams like that, where half the teams in the Big 12 are losing, every team in the SEC is winning. And that makes a difference in a lot of ways. It makes a difference in strength of schedule, obviously provides more opportunities to lose games when you play an extra conference game. And so I think it probably cost us getting 1 or potentially 2 teams into the college football playoff. And so, we've got to do something as a league to get that fixed. I'm hoping the leadership addresses it and does something quickly because, again, the Big 12s exist to put the member institutions and the student athletes in those institutions in the best possible position. And right now our league's not doing that. And so we've got to get it addressed and get it fixed quickly.
I think one of your contemporaries, Chris Kleiman, another contemporary at K-State, made the same comments online that these 9 conference games are hurting the conference overall. We need to take 1 less maybe. Is that something?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like anything else. Everybody needs to play by the same rules. And so right now you've got the Big 12 and the Big 10 that are playing 9 conference games, and then you've got the ACC and the SEC that are playing 8. And it makes all the difference in the world. And so we've got to, they either need to come to 9 or we need to go to 8, and it needs to happen quickly.
We find out this Sunday where we're going bowling. Any thoughts on that matter? Do you have
I wish, I've got some thoughts, but they don't really mean anything.
Right.
I don't really have a dog in the fight. I mean, in terms of no one's listening to me and what I want. So, we'll see what happens. I know this. I'm excited about this team getting another game. I know we're playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum. We have an opportunity to get 15 practices in before the bowl game and get our team better, develop our young players, and, put together a heck of a game plan and go out and execute it. So I know our players are excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. And we get to find out on Sunday, who we're going to play and when it's going to happen. And we've done a lot of planning to looking at all the different scenarios and all the things, but we'll know on Sunday.
Right, and I assume practice. Did you give the kids some time off this week?
Yeah, they're taking finals this week, so we gave them this week off. We'll give them off through the weekend. We'll have a team meeting on Sunday. At that point, we'll know who we're playing. We'll sit down and present the schedule to them. After that, we're going to go watch the girls basketball team play South Carolina, which will be awesome. And then Monday morning, we'll lift and run. Tuesday morning, we'll lift and run, and then we'll start practice on Wednesday.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. We'll be right back with State of the Frogs. Your head coach, Sonny Dykes, talk a little recruiting.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs. Your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, recruiting season is here in full effect. You said Monday coming up, this Monday, the transfer portal opens through almost the end of December.
Right.
Speak of that real quick, the transfer portal.
Yeah. So today's National Signing Day for high school and junior college players. So we signed 31 guys this morning, got them all in. No surprises, which is always a good thing. A great way to start the recruiting process. We've already started, obviously, on the 26 recruiting class. We'll dive into that full speed ahead, over the next couple of days. Picked up a major commitment just a little bit ago from a 26 player, so excited about that. So things are headed to a good place. As you said, the transfer portal opens Monday. We'll see kind of how that plays out. I don't think we anticipate a lot of guys going in. There's going to be some that do. There always are. And I think that what our job is to do is to try to hold the roster together the best we can. But it's also players, it's an opportunity for guys maybe that aren't getting to play to go get a fresh start. And so what we do then is addressed when people leave, we kind of decide we're going to add guys at that position. And so we have a couple of positions that we clearly need to get some experienced players, beginning at wide receiver. We've got to have to, replace, JP, Jack, Savion with some experienced players. We have some really young, talented guys in the program. Eric McAllister's coming back, had a great season this year, and anticipate him being one of the best receivers in the Big 12 moving forward. So we've got to go add some experience to that group. We've got to, always need to add a couple of offensive linemen, always need to add a couple of D linemen, probably going to take a linebacker, and for sure a corner and a couple of safeties. And so that's kind of the process that's going to happen for us. We've got about a month to get all that nailed down and get our roster set for spring ball that starts, in March. And so it's a great opportunity for us to go out and improve our team.
Is it a fair assumption that O-line, D-line is a priority for you?
Always is. Yeah, always is. The good thing is I think we've done a really good job recruiting depth at those two positions. We had a lot of young defensive linemen this year that probably weren't ready to play maybe as much as they had to because of some injuries and some things that happened. But those guys got a lot of experience, so excited about their development. Those guys taking the next step. We've just signed 2 junior college players that are 300-pound guys. They're going to come in and give us some more depth. Signed a really good high school class as well. So love the fact that we're getting bigger up front on both lines of scrimmage. Signed a number of offensive linemen in this group. I think the smallest guys, 6'5", 300. They're all, bigger than that, 6'6", 6'7" guys. So they're all, big, strong, physical dudes. And so that's where you build your football team is up front. And it's always been that way. It'll always be that way.
Sure. Any obscure stories, last-minute flips, these things happen all the
Yeah,
time?
nothing too crazy. Yeah, it's kind of things planned out the way that we needed them to. And so that was encouraging. And I think, with the quality of guys that we're recruiting, just the kind of people we're recruiting, we don't have a ton of flips.
There's a story going around, I don't know if this is accurate, but there's some new rules involving the NIL when that comes into effect through the school. Are the walk-ons, this is what I'm asking, are the walk-on situation going away for the future?
Well, it's going to change. Yeah, we're going to go from, right now our roster is about 125. It's going to go down to about 105. And so instead of about 40 walk-ons, that number is going to get cut in half to about 20. And so it's going to have a huge impact on those guys, something that I'm not really excited about.
Sure.
To me, college football is all about providing opportunities for guys to come in and prove themselves. In a lot of cases, those are the kind of the backbone of your football team and of your program, and you hate to see those guys, half of them go away. But unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to do.
So 105 will be all on scholarship in the new situation, or a few?
Yeah, there'll be probably 85 on scholarship. There'll be some on some partial scholarships, which you can do now, and then there'll be a certain number of walk-ons as well.
Very good. All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate the thoughts. Before we go a couple more. I know this is always a sensitive subject, but does the success of our friends in Dallas, the SMU Mustangs, does that translate anything for you?
It doesn't really have any impact on us.
Right.
I don't think it does. It certainly didn't much in recruiting. Recruited against those guys for a couple of players. I think they've got a different philosophy in recruiting than we do. Just excited to get a chance to play them next fall, and they got us this year, and our job to figure out how to get them next year.
I assume you and Rhett don't speak very often, do you? Or
no, we stay in touch.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. We haven't talked a whole lot. The season's busy, but I'm sure in the off season we'll catch up.
And one final thought, it just came out yesterday that Victor Boschini, the chancellor, is stepping down in June, and the new guy, Daniel Pullen, will be our new chancellor.
Yeah.
Any thoughts there?
Yeah. I hate to see Victor go. Obviously, he's been incredibly effective for this university. I think that this place has become what it is. He played a huge part in that. I've gotten to know Daniel a little bit, excited about his ascension, and I think he understands how important athletics are, and football in particular. And so, I'm very fortunate to get to work with those guys because I think they're two of the best administrators in the country. Excited to get to work with Jeremiah Donati. I think he's as good an AD as there is anywhere, really smart, understands the nuances of college football. So I'm really fortunate to have the job I have and to be around the people I'm around and be at this place. It's a great place, and again, excited about our future.
Well, I've enjoyed this season, Coach. We'll have one more show with you for the bowl game, but the regular season is over for us. Appreciate all the insight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Appreciate the show and the interest in the program, and like I said, looking forward to finding out who we're going to get to play.
Well,
go play.
Luck, Coach.
All right, thank you.
The State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Until next time.
Roxo Media House.